We continue to follow that breaking news this morning. Inflation rising again. The consumer price index rose now 7.9% in February, rose to 7.9%. That is another 40-year high. We'll get a breakdown of this morning's report and really how it affects you. What does that mean? National correspondent Mike Carter, live in the newsroom. Mike.
That's right, Sean. A few weeks ago, many economists were thinking February would be the peak in U.S. consumer inflation. Now it's looking more like a new baseline. Today's latest consumer price index number is out, and prices only keep getting higher and higher. Today's number, a new 40-year high. I feel like we're saying that every month now at 7.9%. So where is this number headed, and just how much more is it going to rise? Well, according to this chart released by Bloomberg, we could see the CPI going as high as 8.6% over the next 2 months. That means things like new and used cars, lodging, rental cars, food, auto insurance, and public transportation, and of course, gasoline, all could continue to go up in prices from this most recent high. And speaking of gas, here's what Jen Psaki had to say about rising gas prices just yesterday.
You may have noticed this week that your gas prices have gone up. I want to talk to you a little bit about why. A lot of it has to do with Vladimir Putin.
Well, that's not exactly true. Today's new national high for gas topping off at $4.31 a gallon nationally. That is up 6 cents just from yesterday, up 66 cents from a week ago. But let's go back to February 23rd, the day before Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Gas then was at $3.53 a gallon. Compare that to a year ago when gas was well under $3 a gallon at $2.79. So the White House, Sean and Emma, placing the blame on Putin for this continuing spike in gas. But next hour, we'll be asking Americans who they place the blame on for that ever-increasing pinch at the pump. Sean?
Always interested to hear what the people think. Mike Carter joining us live in the newsroom. Mike, thank you.
Turning now to a news update. A group of senior U.S. officials meeting with Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro's government to discuss easing sanctions on oil exports. It's the highest level U.S. visit to the government of authoritarian socialist Nicolas Maduro in years, coming after President Biden banned oil exports from Russia, but is still under fire for signaling he will lift sanctions on Iran and Saudi Arabia and possibly Venezuela to get oil and stabilize markets.
And this, the New York Times making a stunning admission about COVID. Listen to this. A senior writer, David Leonhardt, saying in a newsletter, vaccinations, booster shots, and masks have not caused a major difference in case rates between parts of the country. The newsletter saying in part, quote, nationwide, the number of official COVID cases has recently been somewhat higher in heavily Democratic areas than Republican areas. There is a strong argument for continuing to remove other restrictions and returning to normal life, end quote.
In other news, in Florida, lawmakers passing House Bill 1557. It gained national attention after critics have nicknamed it the Don't Say Gay bill. Well, the bill aims to prohibit public schools from teaching about sexual orientation and gender identity to kids in kindergarten through third grade in the classroom. The bill now heads to Governor Ron DeSantis' desk, and he's expected to sign it. Joining us now to discuss, Republican Lieutenant Governor from Florida, Jeanette Nuñez. Lieutenant Governor, thank you so much for coming on. I'd like to get your thoughts on this bill because it has received so much media attention. What is the bill's intent, and do you believe news outlets are accurately reporting what's in it?
Well, the bill, Emma, certainly is not being reported accurately. It is a parental rights and education bill. It recognizes the fundamental rights of parents to make decisions, and it also prohibits classroom instruction. Instruction, I might add, not discussion, classroom instruction around gender identity. And I think that that's something, as you mentioned, in the K through 3 grades. That is something that we believe firmly should not be occurring. We also want to make it very clear that the governor and I are here to debunk these false narratives. The way that the media has capitulated, the way that they have described this bill is a disservice to people that are looking and asking for information. And so when we talk about this bill, we want to stress it's allowing parents the rights to make decisions, not allowing school boards and school districts to keep information about their children's health and well-being, whether it's physical or emotional or mental, from parents, and ultimately This bill is about parents' rights and making sure there's transparency and accountability in our schools.
You talk about parents' rights to choose here. This kind of leads me into my next question. Another sort of newsbreaker headline that the Florida Surgeon General, Dr. Joseph Ladapo, said Monday the state will formally recommend against COVID-19 vaccinations for healthy kids. That also got some pushback. How are you viewing that recommendation?
When you look at the science and you see the little risk that children have as it relates to COVID-19, everything from hospitalizations to serious illness to fatality, we have made the decision based on the science that children have very little risk, and which is why we're not recommending. The governor has been very clear. That is something that parents can make in consultation. That decision can be made in consultation with their physicians, and we are giving parents the choice to make those decisions because, again, we believe that parents are best suited to make all types of decisions, whether it's healthcare or whether it's education for their children.
And finally, before we let you go, Lieutenant Governor, if I could ask you about that headline about the Biden administration sending U.S. officials to meet with Maduro's regime, possibly lifting some sanctions on oil. Your thoughts on what sort of message that signifies, even having those communications open?
Well, for Florida, having the largest number of Venezuelan Americans, it is absolutely disgusting. We think that substituting one dictator for another does nothing for our independence. It does nothing for our national security. What they should have been focused on is making sure that the United States could be energy independent. And they have made decisions from day one of their administration to move us further and further away from being energy independent. We were a net exporter. Clearly now we are being held hostage by our enemies nonetheless. And for us here in Florida, we're going to continue to talk about it and say how we feel as strongly that we are opposed to the Biden administration having any sort of negotiations with a murderous thug like Maduro.
All right. Number of headlines to get to. We appreciate you answering our questions. Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nuñez on National Report. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
And Newsmax is giving you a chance to share your opinion with us. You can cast your vote, and here's how you do it. We want to know if you think the U.S. should back a no-fly zone, if you support that for Ukraine. That has been called on multiple times. Also, let us know what you think about this administration or President Biden's handling of the Russia-Ukraine crisis. So you're wondering, how do you do it? You text the word input to 39747. Text input to 39747. Numbers are there on your screen.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.